Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Mr. Robot. Last time on Mr. Robot we had EPS 2.0 underscore unmask.pt2.tc. Yes, that was it. I could not read that properly despite the fact that it's right in front of me. Yes, continuing on in part 2. Angela is happy at her job. Was that part 2? I think that was part 2. Angela is actually happy at E, and the lawyer lady was like, okay, if you want to fool yourself, that's fine. Elliot was going about his routine, realized that Mr. Robot did get out and talk to someone, and then he realized, wait, I have power because I don't need to do anything, and I can just sit here, keep going about my business, and that will drive Mr. Robot crazy. So if he wants me to do something else, then he's going to need to give me what I want. And sure enough, Mr. Robot did connect him to Terrell. Meanwhile, Joanna's doing some BDSM stuff. What else is there? Darlene was... Well, she got Scott to burn $5.9 million. Feel like there was something else, but boy, I can't think about it. Oh well, I'll remember by the time the episode starts. And speaking of starting the episode, why don't we go ahead and do that? So let's go ahead and get into this episode of Mr. Robot. Here we go.
The FBI believes that I was...
Oh, Gideon died! I forget about that! Wow. That was really important and I forgot about that. It's Christmas!
Alright, man, explain this to me again. Why are you...
Hey, it's that guy that Discord says looks like me.
To really get it, I gotta take you back to 1924.
Oh boy.
Husband and wife team in Bedford. Open up a freak show / dwarf sanctuary on this land you're about to be at. Slices his wife's throat open, stabs his little kids to death, then slits his own wrist. No motive was ever determined. Till one time in '86, she got so liquored up, she accidentally fell off the bar stool and landed hard on the pool cue she was holding. Went right through her neck, clean. Killed her right on the spot.
What the fuck are you telling me this for?
Yeah, seriously.
Place remained dormant until 2000, when Ned Beauchamp brought up the joint under the name Fun Society Amusement LLC. Ned wanted to
Fun
reopen
Society.
the classic arcade now, so Harold stole his twin brother's hunting rifle and shot Dad in the face. Now, what Harold wasn't counting on, considering he had never fired a weapon before, was the kickback. The kickback so hard he tripped and fell out of his dad's 20-story window.
What?
By the time he hit the ground, his head opened up like one of those Gallagher watermelons.
He's a little weird, but he's gonna love this place. He's got a thing for Coney Island. You like him. Actually, you'll hate him, but he's a genius.
Back in the day, I never realized
He
this.
wants to meet you. In a way, this pays everything.
Nuh.
That's a story for another time.
F Society.
I think about you a lot, Elliot. I think about that night when we became gods.
That night.
That night he can't remember.
What happened?
That's as much as you get.
It's not. We had a deal. You wanted to talk to him. I delivered. It's not my fault he's Looney Tunes.
He really expects me to believe.
Rome?
He's not dead, is he? Okay, maybe he is.
Mets won again. This could be their year. Yeah, I know. I know.
Did I miss something? It didn't look like there was a person there.
So we're back to the morphine.
Don't listen to
Interesting.
him.
What do you think that's going to accomplish exactly?
It's not morphine. It's Adderall.
Did you take enough of those? That's the problem, though. I can't tell what's real with him.
Do you have a moment, Mr. Alderson?
Is this the FBI? Did Gideon rat me out?
Whoop. Okay. Oh no. Dudes in suits. It Mobley looks like if you crossed me and Jack Black. And thick glasses. Are they making cement? What's happening? They're not pouring cement in, are they? Well, what else is that? Come on, there's some sort of screwball job here, right?
Get that Adderall out of your system. Good boy.
Yeah, it's
That's
him.
it. Get those shitty pills out of your system.
It's him screwing with them. Getting the Adderall out. Woo! That's the thing, man. I can never tell what's real with him. Don't try to eat it again. Oh, he's eating it again. Well, he's going for the pills specifically. There's a war of attrition between the two of them. I kind of like that he doesn't back down. He's fighting. But at the same time, God, he's so screwed up now.
I will not be owned.
Ugh.
Perhaps you find it as fascinating as I do. How a man can change the whole world with a bullet in the right place.
The Archduke?
It's not the Dark Army. They don't know Romero or the two of you. They only communicate through me, and I sure as shit didn't tell them anything.
You're not the only person they've talked to.
They did talk to Elliot.
State Elliot's in. We don't know.
Don't say what you're thinking.
You don't want to listen to reason. That's on you. But I'm taking off. I'm not sticking around to be next. I'm gonna stay with my buddy in Arizona.
Oh, even he's out.
If they wanted...
I don't trust her or her crazy ass brother.
Hmm.
You know, he tried to pull a gun on Romero.
Yep.
Think about it. They're the only two.
That was him.
Now they're trying.
A lot of life is a balancing act. We're all just doing our best. Tightrope walking above that pit of ungodly pain that's daring us to trip up. Nevertheless, that don't change what's been done to you. The person who did this will get proportionate retribution. On that tip, I still need you to fix this thing for me. You will get your money and, in time, God willing, your health. That's all I want to do here. Just because you beat a man's face to a pulp don't mean he gonna know what he don't. We're not animals. We need to find someone who can do that migration thing you keep talking about.
Okay.
Wave is a motherfucker.
Okay, this guy's doing something. I don't fucking know what.
I'm up to about 200 milligrams now. But that's not the secret. He's gone. You heard me?
Is he?
He's gone.
Are you sure?
I'm way more aware now.
Huh.
I'm way more focused. And I'm feeling 100%.
Just a bunch of Adderall.
He just ran out of the party, pushing old people aside. That's so funny. Was there even a fire? Oh, it's classic George. Am I right?
He's high.
I don't like this, bro.
Yeah. He's gone, but he is crazy high.
Damn, these dishes look immaculate.
This is weird.
We'll dine together. Maybe I'll read to you. Or we'll just talk.
I don't like
But
being
the point
here.
is, he's gone. And now it's just us.
You're not buying any of this either.
No.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
I know, Leon's talking backwards. This isn't good.
Yeah. Ugh. Oh, great.
Yeah.
F The Shining.
I know. The panic isn't settling in anymore. It's just there.
Ugh.
The scream in my mind is coming back.
Yeah. Here he comes.
You are likable. You are attractive.
I don't want to see this.
Alexa, when is the end of the world?
Unless it collides with a very large rock or a future technology goes very wrong indeed, Earth is most likely to be destroyed when the sun swells into a red giant in several billion years' time.
That was a little too involved of an answer, Alexa.
God can help you.
Is that what God does?
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Let's get the random names first, shall we? Racist, sexist, phobia, super, all been down. Yes, okay. I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm talking about all organized religion. Exclusive groups, created to manage control. Hate people. People let go. It's followers. Nothing but addicts. One bullshit. Be there. Don't be ignorance. Addicts. Unbelieving truth. There's no order. There's no power. There's all religions are. That's how it works. That's why it's here. Rules. Life. The charlatans. Don't run. Oh, yeah, there are big families there. Who are even inside our franchise. Now listen to my mentor. You're the chance of yours. People think they worship some king happiness. That's not what he owns you. They're not crazy enough to believe that. Distortion of reality. So fuck off. It's not gonna escape from me.
Please tell me I didn't say all of that out loud.
Well, nobody has
Shit,
two.
I did.
Yeah, okay, you did. I mean, nobody has very strong opinions right now, but yeah, you said that all out loud. Oh no, there goes the journal.
And Saul is the chair of our non-profit arm. Good man as well. He has grandkids, so he's a little ahead in the family department. Oh, and another thing they have in common. They were both in the room with Colby when they made that grave error. CFO has discovered that within the last 2 years, both Jim and Saul have been engaged in some nasty insider trading. There's enough evidence in there to put them away for years.
Whatever you're doing, I don't trust it.
I think that's the point.
But the minute you remove emotion from this, you'll do just fine.
Jeez. This isn't a feel-good show. Why do I end the week on this? Need to end it on One Punch Man.
I started talking out loud. For a second, I thought I was crazy. Moved on with the day. Then, the next day, I did it again. Talked out loud. And the next. Then I realized who I was talking to. You and me are a lot more alike than you think, Elliot.
Yeah. He sees that that's happening to you. Uh-oh. DJ Mobley. Uh-oh. That's a piece. This episode keeps going. Jeez.
You know that bullshit people say about how when you fall, you gotta get up? The whole thing is a fall. It's not about getting up. It's about stumbling. Stumbling in the right direction. It's the only true way to move forward. I can tell the person you're writing about meant something to you. Sometimes he takes over.
The other
That's why you
side.
don't remember things.
It doesn't matter where you go or where you come from. As long as you keep stumbling. Maybe that's all it takes. Maybe that's as good as it gets.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. F society. Right there. Oh boy. Goodness gracious, I wasn't ready for that to be so long. Alrighty. What was the one guy's name? Let me check it. Ray. That was it. There we go. Alrighty. Full length, thanks for stopping by. If you want to watch my discussion on this episode of Mr. Robot, you can head back to the normal video at this time. See you guys there. Oh. I'm never ready for this show, you know? Ugh. Ow. I'm never ready for this show. Oh, I just noticed that the guy that plays Philip Price is in the main cast now. Huh. He's... Oh, excuse me. He's in more of the show than Tyrell is right now. Okay. Okay. We had a lot. There was a lot in that episode. You know, this is kind of a weird season. Like, I feel like this show is so different now. Like, before it was like, you know, okay, we're leading up to the revolution. But it is strange that I almost feel like Elliot's not involved in the plot. You know? Now, obviously, he's going through his own plot, and that's perfectly fine. And obviously, at some point, he will regroup. Right now, he's trying to cope with his other half, you know? He's trying to cope with being Mr. Robot. And it's taking him a while, and rightfully so. But it is kind of a weird thing that it's like, he's kind of not involved, you know? He's not involved with Darlene or Angela, barely with Tyrell, you know? Like, he doesn't... It's like one of those things where it's like he almost doesn't really act off of many characters, you know? It's really just like him and his other half. And again, that's fine. It's just so strange because every time they cut back to Angela or Philip or Darlene, I kind of almost forget about Elliot. Like, oh yeah, he's the main character, but he's not involved enough, you know? I don't know. It is just one of those weird things where last season he was so involved, and, you know, once you get the twist, he's actually more involved than you thought he was, you know? So... Okay, alrighty. That was a lot. That was very a lot, you know? It is weird to think about, you know, when they bring up, like, oh, you know, he pulled a gun on Romero. It's like, yeah, I guess that would have been Elliot, you know? That's just so weird to think about, Elliot. You know, I was kind of thinking, and I thought we were going to get this... I thought this was what was going on during the I guess, the God speech that he gave. I want to see Mr. Robot as portrayed by Elliot, you know? Like, because we haven't really seen that. We've either seen him, Mr. Robot, or they'll, like, cut over it. Like how they cut over to Elliot being on the phone with Tyrell, you know? So that's the thing. Like, I kind of want to see, and I thought it kind of felt like that, you know, for a little bit, where it's like in that speech he was given about, you know, God and religion and stuff like that, kind of felt like it. And the other thing I'm thinking is, like, you know, I kind of want to see it just to see, like, him do almost like an impression of Christian Slater as Mr. Robot, you know? Like, I wonder how that would change his mannerisms. Obviously, he wouldn't be so quiet, you know, as he is, or, you know, kind of reserved as he is, but I don't know. I'd be very interested to see a scene like that, and maybe we will get that, but, yeah. But they've also, you know, they've been pretty keen on keeping sure, like, you know, like in last season when they showed Mr. Robot getting punched by the guy, it's him going over, and then punch, Elliot falls to the ground, you know? So, yeah. Okay, so we have a bunch of notes to go through. This is a crazy long episode. After the last 2 episodes were like 20 minutes shorter, I was not prepared for this. Like, it just kept going and going and going. And I know, you know, I'm not really complaining about that. I just wasn't expecting it, you know? Ugh. Anyway, Fun Society. That's hilarious. I didn't even realize, like, you know, when Dominique goes to the place at the end, it's like, oh yeah, you know, you just take out the U in the end. It's like F Society. It's like, it was right there. That seems dangerous, you know? That seems like dangerous. Like, even if, yeah, it's, you know, this place that is sort of, you know, cordoned off and nobody goes to it. It's not really on records necessarily. It's like, even after all of that, you're still going to be there. That seems a little odd, you know? But yeah, but that whole story about how the arcade came to be was very interesting. And yeah, it took me a while to realize that that was when Mobley recruited Romero. So, yeah. We did get a bit of a talk with Terrell. Not a lot, I will admit. Not a lot. In fact, I'd say we didn't learn a goddamn thing about what's up with Terrell. You know, other than he's lost it. Which Mr. Robot even says, like, look, I got you the phone call. It's not my fault that he's gone crazy, you know? Man, I miss Terrell. That may be something I'm really missing now, is the past 4 episodes we have barely had Terrell at all. And honestly, I really love Terrell. I really love Terrell because he was such a cartoon character. And I mean that in a really good way. You know, this crazy James Bond villain, you know? Like, he was so weird. And honestly, I kind of miss that because it's almost like the one piece of levity in this show. And don't get me wrong, he kind of shouldn't be, but he was. It's like this weird, like when he was talking to Joanna about like, oh, I have seen God, you know, it's just so weird. And his eyes are so crazy that it's like, it's like I really am just sort of sitting there like, oh man, I miss him. And yeah, after that episode, this is a depressing episode, you know? Even like the last 2 episodes weren't this like, this episode was just so heavy. I just can't deal with it, you know? And I said, you know, oh, this show is a bit of a downer. It's not really a feel good show. It's horrible to end my week on this show, you know? I tried to do One Punch Man last because that's just a fun time, you know? But it just didn't work out today, and I'm watching this last, and it's just killing me. But yeah, I miss Terrell. I miss my crazy boy, you know? Like, crazy fun. Elliot's not really crazy fun, you know? Anyway, Romero's dead. We don't really know how necessarily. You know, Mobley came up with, you know, the theory. It's like, oh, well, Elliot and Darlene are covering their tracks, and we're the tracks, you know? But clearly, Elliot's not involved in that whatsoever, unless it's Mr. Robot. But I kind of doubt that, you know? I kind of doubt that it is. But I don't know. Maybe he got out and killed him. I suppose it's possible. You know, I don't know why. This is a complete and utter tangent. You can skip ahead 10 seconds or whatever. This is a complete and utter tangent. I don't know why, but growing flowers sounds lovely. I don't know why I just thought of that. Like, we've seen him grow flowers, you know, before. It's like, oh, this is what he's doing. He's growing flowers and stuff. And it's like, I don't know why. That sounds very lovely. Anyway. But yeah, Romero's dead, which is unfortunate. I did like Romero. But yeah, we don't really know. Is it the Dark Army? Is it Darlene? Was it Mr. Robot? That'd be an interesting twist. So we've kind of got a mystery there. And we'll have to see if that continues with Mobley and Trenton. Which I finally learned her name. And not just because I have the cast list up and it says Trenton. So, yeah. Let's see. We had the Adderall. Oh, boy. That was crazy. So, the solution, not morphine, but Adderall instead. So, he was ODing on Adderall to get rid of Mr. Robot. That's the thing, man, when it's like, oh, the FBI is here and they're pouring, like, concrete down his throat, you know? And it's like, it was at that point that I was like, okay, this is a dream. Obviously, this isn't happening, you know? Like, as soon as it started going down, I was like, okay, this is a hallucination. What's happening here? But that's the thing, you know? You kind of sit here, and it's like, every time we see Elliot, you kind of question, like, okay, so what's real and what isn't real, you know? Which we've said that for a while, you know? Back when, you know, he and Mr. Robot had to get him some morphine, you know, when he came back from that, I was like, okay, what's real and what isn't real? And it's like, yeah, we really don't know at all from that, you know? We don't know anything. We don't know anything about that. What is real and what is not real for Elliot, you know? Because sometimes it's fine. Other times the FBI shows up and you're like, oh, is this real? And then it's like, no, this is Mr. Robot trying to get him to throw up all the Adderall. And then he took it again. That is one thing that I do actually kind of like. The fact that he isn't, you know, just rolling over, basically, you know? Like, and he is actually... I do like it when Elliot sort of gets a one-up on Mr. Robot, you know? So, between that and, you know, getting the phone call with Terrell, I really did like that, you know? So yeah, that was interesting. And then he got, you know, high as a kite for like 6 days and then gave his God speech, which... that God speech, which, and again, you know, I liked he gets through that whole thing and then he looks around and he's like, oh, please tell me I didn't say that out loud. Please tell me that wasn't real. And now the thing is, nobody says anything. Nobody really even changes expressions, you know? Everyone just sort of sits and stares at him. So I would honestly say it's open-ended as to whether or not he actually did say all of that, you know? Well, no, wait, didn't Ray say something? Ah, dang it, I think Ray said something about that. Never mind. Well, I don't know, because that was the thing, was that everyone stayed really calm, actually, during that speech. But yeah, and that was a moment, again, where I was like, okay, is Mr. Robot taking over, and we're finally seeing what it looks like when he does that, you know, from the outside? But it was more, no, this is just Elliot. Well, honestly, you could say, you know, when he acts more like Mr. Robot, maybe that's a bit more of his actual personality. You know, instead of the divided personality, it is the true Elliot personality, you know? So, I don't know. But yeah, but that was interesting. And I do like, you know, even him questioning, okay, did I say that? Was that real? I don't know. And he looks around, crap, that was real. Dang it, you know? So yeah, it is interesting, like, how that works, you know, just like, okay, what is real, what's not real. I like it, honestly, I really like it when he talks to, you know, the audience, and then it's like, oh, I don't know, do you think he's for real? And then Mr. Robot is like, yeah, would you quit talking to them already, you know? It's like, I really do like that, because, yeah, it's like, why are you talking to us? He can hear you. He can hear us, man. So, yeah, it's just an interesting thing, really. Let's see. So we had the whole thing with Angela. Again, Angela at her job. Oh, she is valued, I guess. I don't know. So there was the map of 1914, and then there's, I guess, a newspaper article from back then of the guy killing Archduke Franz Ferdinand and starting World War I, which, you know, how he says, like, oh, just one person shooting another person. gives way to so much, which is true. That leads to World War I, leads to World War II, leads to the Cold War, just leads to all these different things, Kind of leads us to, where we are today, honestly, with, sort of the relations between the U.S. and Russia still, just all of that. That was over 100 years ago at this point, So yeah, that was really interesting that he has that, in his office. And then the whole thing with like, here we're going to have dinner with these two, really great guys. They're good men and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, they were in the room making that decision that basically killed your mother. It's like, great. That's great. That's real great. Thanks. And it's like, here's evidence so that you can put them away. It's like, thanks for that. Great. This is real great. Love working here. Really happy for you. If you hear a sort of low humming, people are vacuuming outside, so yeah. It must be in the living room, because that'd be a lot louder if it was closer to here. People are home, by the way, because it's ice day, so people are home. They're vacuuming, which is making it difficult for me to record. Oh no, they stopped. Anyway. So yeah. But yeah, that whole thing. And what did he specifically say about the emotion? Let me go back to that a bit. Was that here? Or no, that's toast. No, that's her masturbating. That's the speech about God. Yada yada, yada yada. Here it is. Okay.
With Cole.
Skip ahead a bit.
What? I understand. It's a big decision you're making because these men, their lives will be destroyed. But the minute you remove emotion from this, you'll do just fine.
This blows. Alright, so the minute you remove emotion from this, you'll do just fine. I mean, basically, he is molding Angela into a stone cold corporate bitch, basically. And she's going with it. Now, we don't know specifically, is she going to do it or is she not going to do it? And see, this is different because whereas before it was just Terry Colby and, he's just a fucking asshole, so she didn't really care. But this time, this time I feel like is different because she met them first and was like, oh, they're really great guys. They do toys for tots and stuff like that, and they have nice families and stuff. Don't do a gif of that. That looked weird. Anyway, so yeah, it's like, oh, we're doing all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, but they're really shitty. Actually, they did this really, really shitty thing. And if you want to destroy them, that's fine. Just remove emotion, and you'll be like me. So, this is great. She's really valued. This is amazing. This is a great job for her. Yeah. Every time I hear this guy's voice, it's just so interesting. The guy that plays Philip. I'm looking through some of his filmography real quick. Okay, I don't know. Thought I could recognize him from somewhere, but I don't. What do we got? Ray? Okay, so Ray's not exactly the happy man we all thought. The vacuum's getting closer and getting louder, so we're gonna power through some of this here. So Ray, he needs his site up and running. I don't remember what his site was. Did they specifically say that yet? I don't know. But he needs his website up and running, and he needs So he was going to have a guy do it, but he couldn't do it. So now he's going to have Elliot do it. And he beat the guy up, basically, to try to convince him. I guess, I don't know. I feel like we need to learn more about Ray. So it's not exactly the nice, wise guy. It's like, okay, there's something up with this dude. Let's see. The God speech, emotion, Dominique. That was interesting. She's a very interesting character because she also sort of is not, and I know this is the weirdest way to say this, but she's also not exactly involved in the plot. I mean, obviously, yes, she's part of the FBI. She is investigating this stuff, and this is leading her towards F Society. But she literally hasn't met any of our characters. Now she's kind of a main character, you know? So, yeah, but she has now found Mobley through the flyer and has brought her to the arcade that specifically says F Society. So, yeah. We'll have to see where that's going. And then the last thing I wrote down was stumble. You know, it's not about getting up, it's about stumbling in the right direction, which is an interesting metaphor for it. You know, that honestly, yeah, you can sort of say it's like life is stumbling. It's not just, oh, you fall and you get back up. It's stumble and hope you make it in the right direction. Yeah, to an extent. I would kind of agree with that. So that was a good speech there. And I'll be interested to see how Ray is going to affect Elliot going forward, you know, because now, you know, Mr. Robot is back. I'd be curious to see if maybe this is how, who knows, maybe he'll start working with Mr. Robot to an extent. So, I don't know. Good episode. Another good episode. And not exactly a feel-good episode. Not that these episodes ever are, but I would like a little bit of levity, and that levity either comes from Terrell Wellick being weird, or Joanna being scary. No Joanna in this episode. Which she is definitely a scary, scary woman, just in general, just her eyes. They both have just eyes that are like, his are crazy, hers are scary, you know? So yeah, I miss them. That's all I got. This was great. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Mr. Robot reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. Support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.